Hi, my name is Bob Hill. I'm the president of the Church of Scientology Mission of Riverdale at 308 Broadview Avenue in Toronto. This is Sunday service number 30. Now today, I thought we'd change things up a bit, and I'd actually go into the aims of Scientology with you. In other words, what we plan to achieve. Scientology is a practical religion. It teaches a person how to know. That's what the word Scientology means. Knowing how to know. Now, if you take that simple definition and you really look at it through studying Scientology or understanding Scientology, this gives you the ability to observe life around you. And of course, if you can observe, then you can know. Okay? Great. Now, what are we working to achieve in Scientology? What are our goals? Today, the sermon is coming out of a book called Scientology 08. Now, what that means is Scientology takes you from the zero of the physical universe to a state of being in infinity, which is 8. The letter 8 being the symbol of infinity on the planet, turned on its side. So if you take the letter 8, turn it on its side, you have infinity. And so 08, from the zero of the physical universe to infinity, 8. Okay? Now, the game then, therefore, is a game of getting you to survive into infinity. I think that's something you'd probably like, right? So now, I'm going to go over the aims of Scientology with you from that book. And as I mentioned, the aims are, these are things we wish to achieve in Scientology. A civilization without insanity. You can see a lot of that around you right now. So can you imagine a civilization without insanity? Without criminals? And without war? Where the able can prosper and honest beings can have rights. It's very difficult to have all your rights as an honest being in an environment where you have crime, where you have insanity, and you have war. So we hope to change those things so you do have your rights as an honest being. And where man is free to rise to greater heights are the aims of Scientology. Now, these are our basic aims. So you say to yourself, well, what do you mean by rise to greater heights? Well, it's very simple. Through Scientology study and through Scientology counseling, we call it auditing in Scientology, a person can achieve higher awareness of themselves spiritually and find out who they are more and more. You probably asked yourself that question 1,000 times. Well, who am I really? Is this really me? Well, in Scientology, you find out who you really are. And through the studies in our basic materials, you can also get a foundation and understanding of how it is it came to be that a person got into the condition they were in. And I think that's something you could probably use. Now, Scientology was first announced to an interpolated world in 1950. These aims are well within the grasp of our technology. Scientology is non-political in nature. So you say, well, what does that mean? Scientologists don't care about politics? The subject of Scientology itself is non-political. A Scientologist is entitled to decide on whatever political party he or she decides. However, Scientology itself is non-political. Scientology welcomes any individual of any creed, race, or nation. So anyone can do Scientology, any creed, any race, any nation. We seek no revolution. We're not trying to create a revolution where we're going to go out and go after the guys who are running the country. No, we seek only evolution to higher states of being for the individual and for the society. Those are pretty tall words, but in my humble opinion, they can be achieved. You can, by bringing a person to a higher state of awareness of themselves spiritually, improve the conditions of society around you. We are achieving our aims. If I'm any indication of that, I would have to say it's true, simply because I know where I was before I started the journey of Scientology and where I am now. Where I was before, I was contributing to the interbulation of society, whereas now I spend most of my time trying to disinterbulate the environment around me. After endless millennia of ignorance about himself, his mind, and the universe, a breakthrough has been made for man. Now, when we say endless ignorance about himself, we're talking about what I mentioned to you earlier, the age-old question, who am I? Where did I come from? What am I about? Well, you can take away that ignorance in Scientology. You can find with certainty exactly who you are. You can also find out about your mind, how it functions, why you get up in the morning sometimes and you got this, I just don't feel right. That's your mind kicking in on you. Whereas it may not have anything to do with you spiritually. So keep that in mind, because you can find out about it. And you can also find out about the universe around you. A breakthrough has been made for man. Now, when we say the universe around you, in order to have a concept of that, one needs to study, as we mentioned earlier, so they can get the power to observe. When they can observe, then they can see things in the universe around them. If they're just walking around operating off of what they see on television or what they've heard on the news or what they punched in on the internet, they're not really observing. They're just looking at what we would call reactive thought. And that, of course, feeds into their own mind and their own reactive thought and creates more reactive thought, which is not based on observation. Okay? So, other efforts man has made have been surpassed. Many, many, many philosophers, many religious leaders have tried to bring man to higher states, and in some cases have brought them inklings of truth. However, the combined truths of 50,000 years of thinking men, distilled and amplified by new discoveries about man, have made for this success. So you have the combined information of 50 million years of these great, or 50,000 years of these great people who had ideas, and Mr. Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, got new discoveries based on that. It amplified it, and so we're now at this point where man can rise up and become successful. We welcome you to Scientology. We only expect of you your help in achieving our aims and helping others. That's a big thing. You know, on this point on helping and helping others, I'm going to bring up something that I brought up. I recently lost a family member. And that family member I considered loved to help other people. In one exact incident that I could recall as a young man, I think I was 12 years old, my mother, who I'm referring to, helped a teenage girl who was in trouble without any prejudgment, without questioning her, without saying, why are you doing this? No, she just helped her out, no, non-judgmental, gave her a few points of wisdom, sent the girl on her way, didn't even question what she was going to do, but helped her at that point. Now, I would hope that that example of that person helping another person improved the person on both sides. For me, it was something that stuck with me all these years. Scientology is the most vital movement on earth today. In a turbulent world, the job is not easy. You just have to look around. You can see the world is somewhat turbulated, and there's different things being thrown at you constantly. Sometimes it's hard to surmise what's true and what's false. Well, in a turbulent world, it's not easy to bring people out of that because they get fixated on these datums and they find it difficult to come out. Whereas Scientology, all we do is welcome you to have the knowledge. If one is willing to grab a hold of it and willing to walk that path, one will become uninturbulated, and you will observe and you will start to disinturbulate the environment around you. But then, if the world weren't turbulated, we wouldn't have to be doing it, would we? We respect man, and we believe he is worthy of help. Probably one of the hardest things. Sometimes you really have to use your patience and your judgment and look around the corner and decide for yourself, am I really willing to help that person? Well, in Scientology, we feel man is worthy of help, regardless of who the man is, regardless of his actions. We respect you and believe that you too can help. See, we also feel you can help. Scientology does not owe its help. We have done nothing to cause us to propitiate. What does that mean? Simply, Scientology is not owed to anyone. We offer it freely. It's there for anyone to study. We don't have to run around and say, oh, please do this. We'll give you this if we do that. We don't have to propitiate. Had we done so, we would not now be bright enough to do what we are doing. Man suspects all offers of help. You've probably seen that. He's often been betrayed. Well, it can't be more obvious than it is today. You actually have factions fighting against other factions. You have two groups of people who have different viewpoints and can't even come to a reasonable conversation. So he's been betrayed. His confidence has been shattered. Too frequently he has given his trust and been betrayed. We may err, we make mistakes, but for we build a world with broken straws. So what does that mean? Well, we're dealing with people who have been betrayed with help. They've been told things, they've been offered things that they didn't get. They may be a bit skittish about getting services. They may feel threatened when you offer them help. So we do make errors, and we're building a world with broken straws. That's the way it is. And our fellow man, I'm afraid, he is somewhat broken. But we will never betray your faith in us so long as you are one of us. The sun never sets on Scientology. And may a new day dawn for you, for those you love, and for man. Our aims are simple, if great. And we will succeed, and are succeeding at each new revolution of the earth. Now, that datum there, I can just tell you, if you're looking for some big, magical thing to happen, you're fooling yourself. The magic we have in Scientology is contained in our ability to love our fellow man despite all reasons we should not. That is the purest thing you can do for him. If you can step back and admire that guy despite all reasons you shouldn't, well, that simple thing alone will help him. And thus, as Scientologists, we can change Earth by doing that, and we are succeeding. Your help is acceptable to us. Our help is yours. Those are the aims of Scientology. I will now read to you the creed of the Church of Scientology. We of the Church believe that all men of whatever race, color, or creed were created with equal rights. That all men have inalienable rights to their own religious practices and their performance. That all men have inalienable rights to their own lives. That all men have inalienable rights to their sanity. That all men have inalienable rights to their own defense. That all men have inalienable rights to conceive, choose, assist, and support their own organizations, churches, and governments. That all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others. That all men have inalienable rights to the creation of their own kind. That the souls of men have the rights of men. That the study of the mind and the healing of mentally caused ills should not be alienated from religion or condoned in non-religious fields, and that no agency less than God has the power to suspend or set aside these rights overtly or covertly. And we of the Church believe that man is basically good, that he is seeking to survive, that his survival depends upon himself and upon his fellows in his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. And we of the Church believe that the laws of God forbid man to destroy his own kind, to destroy the sanity of another, to destroy or enslave another's soul, to destroy or reduce the survival of one's companions or one's group. And we of the Church believe that the spirit can be saved, and that the spirit alone may save or heal the body. Now today, that's all I'm going to take up with you. I probably could take up more. But if we just follow those aims, if you are a Scientologist and you're listening to this, I would only ask that you make your greatest efforts to observe, see what you see. If you're not a Scientologist and you're watching this, I invite you to come and study. I invite you to look outward. I invite you to go from the zero of the physical universe into infinity. Thank you very much for listening to me. I care about each and every one of you. I work very hard personally every day trying to do that, and I will continue to do it. Thank you.